Too many of us want the reward before we run the race. We want the success before we put in the work. We pray for the destination, but don't want to walk the journey. But let me tell you something. You got to trust the process. Nothing worth having comes easy. Nothing. You see, when I started out, I wasn't the Denzel Washington you know today. I was just a young man, struggling, failing, hearing no more times than I could count, but I kept going. I kept pushing. I didn't rush it. I trusted it. Success takes time. It is a principle that has been tested by history, proven by experience, and cemented in the stories of every great individual who has ever achieved something worthwhile. In a world driven by instant gratification, where people want overnight results, it's easy to forget that true success is never immediate. It is built over time, brick by brick, effort by effort, setback by setback. Every skyscraper begins as an empty piece of land. Every masterpiece starts as a blank canvas. Every great leader, athlete, entrepreneur, and artist had to start somewhere, often with nothing but a dream and an unwavering commitment to see it through. The problem today is that too many people want the destination without the journey. They want the reward without the sacrifice. They see successful people and assume they were lucky, gifted, or born into the right circumstances. But what they don't see are the long nights, the countless failures, the sacrifices made, and the years of hard work that went unnoticed before that person finally broke through. Success is not a straight line. It is filled with ups and downs, moments of doubt, failures that make you question yourself, and setbacks that make you want to quit. But those who stay the course, those who persist despite the struggles, are the ones who ultimately succeed. Think about some of the most successful people in history. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, didn't even make his high school varsity team at first. Imagine if he had given up after that. Instead, he used the rejection as fuel, practiced harder than anyone else, and eventually became a legend. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first television job because they told her she wasn't fit for TV. Today, she is one of the most influential media moguls in the world. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, was rejected by 12 different publishers before one finally gave her a chance. The book series went on to sell over 500 million copies worldwide. What do all these stories have in common? They didn't achieve success overnight. They faced rejection, failure, and obstacles, but they kept going. They trusted the process. The problem with our generation is that we have been conditioned to expect instant results. We live in an era where everything is fast. Fast food, fast internet, fast delivery, fast entertainment. And because of that, we assume success should be fast too. We see people on social media flaunting their success, showing off their luxurious lifestyles and making it look effortless. But what we don't see are the years they spent grinding behind the scenes, the moments of doubt and failure, and the sacrifices they had to make to get there. Success is never as glamorous as it looks from the outside. Behind every achievement is a story of struggle, patience, and perseverance. The reality is, anything worthwhile takes time. If you plant a seed today, you can't expect to see a full-grown tree tomorrow. It needs time to take root, to grow, to develop strength. The same applies to success. You have to put in the work, stay patient, and allow the process to unfold. The people who fail are often the ones who give up too soon. They quit because they don't see immediate results, not realizing that they might have been just one step away from a breakthrough. Success doesn't happen on your timeline. It happens when the time is right. Your job is to keep going even when you don't see progress, even when you feel like nothing is changing, because every small effort adds up. There's a famous story about a man who spent years digging for diamonds. He dug and dug, but after a long time, without finding anything, he gave up. He sold his land to another man, The new owner continued digging in the same spot and just a few feet deeper struck one of the richest diamond mines in history. The first man had been so close, but he quit just before reaching his goal. That is how most people fail. They stop too soon. They let frustration, impatience, and doubt get the best of them. But those who succeed are the ones who understand that setbacks are part of the process. They keep pushing forward, knowing that their hard work will pay off in the end. Every dream, every goal, every success story is built over time. If you want to become great at something, you have to put in the hours, the practice, the dedication. If you want to build a business, you have to endure the struggles, the financial setbacks, the mistakes. If you want to change your life, you have to embrace the discomfort, the uncertainty, the long road ahead. There are no shortcuts. There are no overnight successes. There is only persistence, hard work, and time. Even in moments of doubt, when nothing seems to be working, when the progress is slow, remember this: success is coming, but it will come when it's meant to, not when you demand it. Keep moving forward, keep believing, and most importantly, keep trusting the process. Faith and fear are both choices. They both require you to believe in something you cannot see. The only difference is that fear makes you believe in failure, while faith makes you believe in possibility. The truth is, life is uncertain. No one knows exactly how things will turn out. No one can guarantee success, and no one can promise that everything will go as planned. But you always have a choice in what you focus on. You can either let fear control you and make you doubt yourself, or you can choose faith and believe that no matter how difficult things get, no matter how slow the progress seems, you are moving towards something greater. Trusting the process means having faith, even when you don't see immediate results. It means believing in yourself, in your dreams, in your hard work, even when the world gives you every reason to give up. Because success is not just about talent or intelligence, it's about mindset. And the people who succeed are the ones who choose faith over fear every single time. Fear will always be there. It will whisper in your ear when things get tough, telling you that you're wasting your time, that you're not good enough, that you should quit. It will try to convince you that because you haven't seen progress yet, you never will. But fear is a liar. It thrives on doubt, on insecurity, on hesitation. The moment you let fear take over, you stop moving forward. You hesitate, you second guess yourself, you stop taking action, and before you know it, you've talked yourself out of your dreams. But faith works the opposite way. Faith tells you to keep going, even when things don't make sense. Faith tells you to trust the work you're putting in, to believe that every effort, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to where you want to be. Faith reminds you that success is not about how fast you reach your goal, but about the perseverance to keep going despite the obstacles. Some of the greatest success stories in history were built on faith. People who had no reason to believe in themselves, no reason to keep going, but they did anyway. They trusted the process. They didn't let fear dictate their decisions. They didn't let setbacks convince them to quit. They believed even when no one else did. Look at Thomas Edison. He failed over 1,000 times before he successfully created the light bulb. Imagine if he had let fear win. Imagine if he had given up after the first 100 failures or even the first 1,000, but he didn't. He had faith in his vision, faith in his ability to figure it out, and because of that, he changed the world. The same is true for anyone who has ever achieved something great. Every entrepreneur who built a successful business had to trust the process. Every athlete who became a champion had to push past fear and believe in their training, even when they lost games, even when they faced injuries. Every artist, every writer, every musician had to keep creating even when no one was watching, even when no one believed in them. Success is built on faith. because without it, you will give up the moment things get hard. And things will get hard. There will be moments when you question everything, when you wonder if you're even on the right path, when you feel like all your effort is leading nowhere. That is when most people quit. That is when fear takes over. But if you can hold on, if you can push through that moment, you will realize that every challenge is just a test of your patience, your belief, your willingness to keep going. It's important to understand that faith is not about ignoring reality. It's not about pretending that everything is easy or that success is guaranteed. Faith is about trusting that even though you can't see the results right now, your work is not wasted. It's about knowing that progress is being made, even if it's happening behind the scenes. Think about the way nature works. A seed planted in the ground doesn't immediately sprout into a tree. It takes time. It grows roots first, deep underground where no one can see them. And only when the roots are strong enough does it start to break through the surface. The same is true for success. Sometimes the work you're doing is laying the foundation, building the unseen roots that will support your growth in the future. Just because you don't see instant results doesn't mean nothing is happening. The people who trust the process, who keep showing up even when there's no visible progress, are the ones who eventually break through. The problem is that most people let fear convince them to dig up their own seeds before they have a chance to grow. They give up too soon. They stop believing in themselves the moment things get hard. They let fear take over and they walk away from their dreams. But what if they had held on just a little longer? What if the breakthrough was just around the corner? The truth is, most people fail not because they aren't talented enough, not because they aren't capable, but because they let fear stop them before they reach the finish line. One of the greatest lessons in life is that the people who win are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who refuse to quit. They are the ones who keep going, who keep believing, who keep working, even when things aren't going their way. They trust the process. They understand that the journey is not always smooth, that there will be setbacks, that there will be moments of doubt. But instead of letting those moments break them, they let them build them. They use every setback as a lesson, every failure as an opportunity to improve. They don't let fear make their decisions for them. They choose faith. And that is the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. Success is not about luck. It's not about getting everything right the first time. It's about persistence. It's about resilience. It's about having the courage to keep going, even when you don't have all the answers, even when you don't see immediate results. Because the truth is, you don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to know exactly how things will work out. You just need to keep going. You just need to keep believing. You just need to trust that every step you take, every effort you make is leading you closer to your goal. Fear will always be there, trying to hold you back. But faith is stronger. Faith will push you forward. Faith will remind you why you started in the first place. And if you can hold on to that faith, if you can trust the process, even when things seem uncertain, you will find that success is not just possible, it's inevitable. Growth happens in the struggle. It is in the moments of difficulty, in the moments of frustration, in the moments where nothing seems to be going right, that true strength is developed. But most people don't see it that way. Most people look at struggle as a sign that they should quit. They see obstacles as proof that they're on the wrong path. They assume that if something is difficult, it must not be meant for them. But the truth is, struggle is a necessary part of growth. It is not something to avoid, it is something to embrace. Every great achievement, every moment of personal development, every breakthrough is born from struggle. Without challenges, without setbacks, without failures, there is no progress. Growth is not comfortable, it is not easy, it is not quick. It is painful, it is frustrating, and at times it feels impossible. But those who push through, those who refuse to quit, those who keep going despite the hardships are the ones who come out stronger, wiser, and better than before. Think about how muscles grow. When you lift weights, you are literally tearing your muscle fibers apart. It is through that stress, that breakdown, that pain, that your muscles rebuild themselves stronger than before. Without resistance, without struggle, there is no growth. The same principle applies to every area of life. If you want to become stronger mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or financially, you have to go through struggles that challenge you, that push you beyond your comfort zone, that force you to become better. The problem is, most people want the results without the process. They want the strength without the struggle. They want the rewards without the hard work. But it doesn't work that way. You don't become successful by avoiding hardship. You become successful by overcoming it. Look at anyone who has ever achieved greatness. Their journey was filled with struggle. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Instead of letting that failure define him, he used it as motivation. He worked harder than ever, trained relentlessly, and became one of the greatest athletes in history. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first job in television. She could have taken that as a sign that she wasn't good enough. Instead, she used the rejection to push herself forward, to prove to herself and the world that she belonged. Today, she is one of the most influential women in the world. J.K. Rowling was living in poverty, a struggling single mother, rejected by multiple publishers before one finally took a chance on her. Imagine if she had given up after the first rejection, or the second, or the 12th. She didn't. She embraced the struggle, kept going, and ended up writing one of the most successful book series of all time. The common theme in all these stories is not talent, not intelligence, not luck. It is perseverance. It is the ability to keep moving forward despite the struggle. The problem with most people is that they want an easy path. They want success without pain, without difficulty, without setbacks. But what they don't realize is that struggle is what shapes you. Struggle is what forces you to grow. When everything comes easy, you don't develop the strength to handle challenges. You don't build resilience. You don't develop the mindset necessary to sustain success. That is why so many people who achieve quick success end up losing it just as fast. They never built the foundation to handle it. They never struggled enough to develop the discipline, the patience, and the wisdom required to maintain it. True success is not just about reaching the top. It's about staying there. And the only way to stay there is to have gone through enough struggles to build the strength to handle it. When life gets hard, when challenges come, when you feel like giving up, remember this: the struggle is not breaking you, it is building you. Every setback, every failure, every rejection is making you stronger. It is preparing you for the success that is coming. It is teaching you the lessons you need to learn so that when you finally reach your goal, you will be ready for it. Too many people quit just before their breakthrough. They walk away from their dreams because they can't handle the struggle. But if they had just held on a little longer, if they had just kept going despite the pain, they would have seen that the struggle was leading them exactly where they needed to be. The greatest lessons in life come from struggle. Struggle teaches you patience. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you how to adapt, how to keep going when things don't go as planned. It forces you to become creative, to think differently, to find new ways to achieve your goals. It strengthens your character, humbles you, and reminds you that nothing worth having comes easy. It separates those who truly want success from those who only like the idea of it. Because when things get tough, when everything seems to be working against you, only those who truly believe in themselves, only those who are willing to fight for their dreams will push through. There is a reason why people who go through the most struggles often become the strongest. They learn how to handle pain. They learn how to deal with failure. They develop a mindset that allows them to keep moving forward no matter what. They understand that struggle is not a punishment, it is a blessing in disguise. Because with every struggle comes growth. With every challenge comes an opportunity to become better. And with every failure comes a lesson that will help you succeed in the future. So the next time you find yourself struggling, don't see it as a sign to quit. See it as a sign that you are growing. See it as proof that you are on the right path. Because if everything was easy, if success required no effort, then everyone would have it. But not everyone does. Only those who are willing to struggle for it, who are willing to push through the pain, who are willing to keep going even when they feel like giving up, only they will reach the top. And when they do, they will look back at every challenge, every failure, every difficult moment, and realize that those were the moments that made them who they are. The struggle wasn't a barrier to success. The struggle was the path to success. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. It is what separates those who talk about success from those who achieve it. Many people have dreams. Many people have ambition. Many people say they want to be great. But very few people are willing to do what it takes every single day to turn that dream into a reality. That is because discipline is hard. It is not exciting. It is not glamorous. It is not something that gives you instant gratification. Discipline is waking up early to work on your goals when no one is watching. It is staying focused when distractions are pulling you in every direction. It is choosing long-term success over short-term comfort. It is doing the work day after day, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're tired, even when progress is slow. The truth is, success is not about talent alone. It is not about luck. It is not about being in the right place at the right time. Success is about consistency. It is about showing up. It is about being disciplined enough to keep moving forward no matter what obstacles come your way. The reason most people never achieve their full potential is not because they aren't capable. It is not because they don't have talent. It is because they lack discipline. They start strong. They are motivated in the beginning. They are excited about their goals. But the moment things get difficult, the moment they don't see immediate results, they slow down. They make excuses. They lose focus. They tell themselves they'll try again tomorrow, and then the next day, and then the next, until one day they realize that weeks, months, even years have gone by, and they are still in the same place. The truth is, motivation is temporary. It comes and goes. Some days you feel inspired, and other days you don't. But discipline is what keeps you going even when motivation disappears. Discipline is what separates the people who dream from the people who do. If you look at the most successful people in any field, business, sports, entertainment, science, you will see one common trait: discipline. They don't rely on motivation. They don't wait until they feel like working. They don't make excuses when things get hard. They show up every single day, whether they feel like it or not. Kobe Bryant was known for his legendary work ethic. He would wake up at 4 a.m. to practice long before his teammates even arrived at the gym. He understood that success was not about talent alone. It was about discipline, about pushing himself beyond his limits, about doing the work when no one else was willing to. That is why he became one of the greatest basketball players of all time. The same applies to every successful person. They succeed not because they have something special that others don't. The truth is, discipline is uncomfortable. It requires sacrifice. It means choosing the hard path instead of the easy one. It means saying no to distractions, no to laziness, no to excuses. And that is why most people avoid it. They want success, but they don't want to give up their comfort. They don't want to wake up early. They don't want to put in extra hours. They don't want to do the boring, repetitive work that leads to mastery. They want results without effort. rewards without sacrifice, victory without struggle. But success does not work that way. You don't get to choose both comfort and greatness. You either choose discipline or you choose mediocrity. The biggest challenge with discipline is that it doesn't give you instant rewards. In the beginning, you don't see the results. You go to the gym for weeks and don't see a major change. You work on your business for months and still struggle. You practice a skill every day and still feel like a beginner. That is why so many people quit. They think discipline isn't working. They think all the effort is pointless. But what they don't realize is that discipline is like compound interest. It takes time to show results. Every small action, every daily habit, every disciplined decision adds up over time. And one day, without warning, you break through. One day you wake up and realize you are stronger, smarter, better than you were before. But that day only comes to those who stay disciplined long enough to reach it. That is why trusting the process requires discipline. You can't just work hard for a few weeks and expect success. You can't just be consistent when it's convenient. You have to commit fully and completely. You have to stay disciplined even when you don't see immediate results, even when doubt creeps in, even when the progress is slow. Because the people who achieve their goals are not the ones who start the strongest. They are the ones who refuse to quit. They are the ones who stay disciplined when no one is watching, who keep working when others give up, who understand that success is not about how fast you get there, but about how long you are willing to stay in the game. The biggest lie people tell themselves is that they don't have time. They say they don't have time to work on their goals, to improve themselves, to build their future. But the truth is, everyone has time. It is just a matter of priorities. The same 24 hours that successful people have, you have too. The difference is how you use them. Some people spend hours on social media, watching TV, wasting time on things that don't add value to their lives. Others use that time to build, to learn, to grow. Discipline is about making the right choices with your time. It is about understanding that every hour you waste is an hour you could have used to get closer to your goals. At the end of the day, success is simple, not easy, but simple. It is about doing the right things consistently over time. It is about waking up and making the choice to work, to improve, to stay focused, no matter how you feel. It is about building habits that push you forward instead of holding you back. And most importantly, it is about trusting that every small step you take, every disciplined decision you make, is leading you exactly where you need to go. Because discipline is not just about working hard. It is about believing that the work you do today will create the future you want tomorrow.